so cute in your dress from Spain.
Thank you. I was just trying to bring it all in. That whole moment still just popped into my brain this morning. I don't know why.
And you're like, this is me today.
I was like, this is me. And I can wear it. Like the weather's still good. And body's kind of getting a bit back to where it can wear things that I want to wear.
I love that.
But, I wore it to match your painting that I didn't know was going to come. But
that happens to us all the time. So I'm wearing a sleeveless turtleneck, which is kind of an ode to Texas weather. It's like the weather has gone down, 3 degrees. So we're all celebrating. It's almost coat weather.
Boots.
Yeah. It's only a high of 90 today. So it's almost time. But I'm in menopause, so it has to be sleeveless. So here we go.
And it is a gorgeous color. Like
Thank
that's
you.
a fall fashion right there. Hi. Okay, so what's your win? I know. I want to get right to it because I'm like, I want to hear everything.
We have the best guest in the history of ever today this morning, so got to get to it.
I know. We're just like, go. Get her up here.
I know. So what is, I was thinking about wins this morning, and I had a couple that came to mind, but I think the one that I'm feeling the most this morning is we had a past client reach out to us. They're going to do another house. And yesterday they reached out and said, hey, we're doing another house. We want to hire y'all. And while it's great that it's a project, right? The real compliment is these people that you fell in love with, you get to have do-overs with. And at the new stage, and their kids are older now. And she was like, my kids are no longer disgusting. And so we can actually have fabric and not pleather on everything. So there doesn't have to be a floor drain in the living room. So they can just spray everything down. So getting to work with it. We don't have to slope it. We don't have to slope the...
God.
So that's a big win to get to go to the next stage with a family. And so the highest compliment that anybody can pay you, right?
It's just, oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. How about you?
The weekend was last week was a phenomenal week. It was just hitting hard with everything good. But the weekend was fantastic. The boys came in. We had our kind of a big last hurrah at the brand Casa and got to see everybody, most of the people that we've, known for all of our lives here, and had a great time and celebrated. It was so beautiful. But one of the conversations and something you just said just it choked me up so much. But a friend who, thank goodness she got there pretty early. She was one of the second or third people in. So we had more time than I had with anybody. But she shared how grateful she was that we are always opening our home and throwing these parties and doing these things, because she was really not comfortable with her house. And she felt kind of embarrassed. She never entertains because she doesn't like how her house is. And that is one of those things, like I've said a million times, Matt and I could fill a house with 100 people, but we don't always get invited to, evenings or dinners. And I think there's perception. People think we're busier than we are, maybe, or who knows. But it was the sweetest gesture, because she was, and I think that's the saddest thing to me, is that somebody lives in a place they don't want to host in. So it did something to me in that sense of like, oh my God, can we all just take a minute and say, who gives a shit what your house looks like if you want people in it? That's the most beautiful your house can look, right? Is when you've got it full of friends. But
love it.
It was just a reminder. And so it's a win that we were all together and got to have that. And I loved hearing it. But she also has had our kids there and at her house because she felt comfortable. And so it was just cool. But it was such a eye opener too of how many people are not living their lives because of what they think other people are thinking. And
so I used to wear that same shoe, but on a different foot, right? I'm a designer and I make everybody else's home so gorgeous and beautiful. And we never did that for ourselves to the level that I did it for others. And it's a real thing. But I think also, I know for a fact that I haven't been invited places and they'll be like, well, I didn't want you to see my house, or I was embarrassed for you to see my furniture. And I'm like, the interesting thing is I will go into somebody's home and I leave and I couldn't tell you one thing about their home. When I go there to enjoy, I don't look around and there is not judgment. It's like I am there for a different purpose and I get to turn the work thing off. And so it's interesting. I'm like, well, I don't really notice people's houses in that way. And I'm grateful for it.
Yeah.
That I can sort of separate
just
that.
Invite me. I swear. I'm just happy. Yeah. So it was a win to see all these beautiful people, but I did hear that was kind of a thread throughout the evening, not to that degree as much, but we just don't have a host a lot about, we don't always host and we're not always, and so it was sweet. And I was so grateful because I do love a good party.
You are a very generous hostess, and the way that you set up your home and all the thoughtful things that you have, like the gluten-free table, and you always have olive tapenade for people
like you
that don't come unless there's olive tapenade. And no, everything about your home is very, very generous, and you have so many beautiful family things out, and it is very, very brand. On brand, I guess I should say.
It was fun. It was so fun.
Loved it.
Loved having you. Thank you for your help, by the way.
Okay, so about our art. This is by Renee Wiley. She is an artist that paints with oils, and she's a prolific artist, and she does a lot of paintings that are referenced or inspired by the Texas Gulf Coast. And I bought this for my home, actually, in Galveston. She has a gallery there that's lovely. Her husband actually sold me this particular painting. And I loved it because it is a true depiction of like the wires and the poles and the beautiful colors in the homes. But I love it through her eyes.
I think that is what is so beautiful about it, is they didn't try and hide that that's what's happening. There are electrical poles.
Right.
But they're beautiful. And I like how she painted it on the edges too, knowing that not everybody's going to frame this, so that goes right up, right? It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Go to YouTube so you can see it.
So I'm happy to get to highlight her today. And I'm hoping to buy some more of her art for a client that we're working with in Galveston currently. So
that's
at least a piece.
At least a piece.
Yeah.
At least a piece.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the piece de resistance of the day.
All right.
Who do we have?
Drumroll.
Jessica Duce in the
house. That was not planned, by the way.
That totally wasn't, but you can't do her without doing
that.
Her. Without doing that. So Jessica Duce from VRD.
VRD. We're going to talk about all those things,
all the things that she is. So just give us a minute. We'll get her out here and hear all of her beauty.
Learn about her.
Jessica Duce.
That was an amazing
They feel like we'd put the before Jessica Duce.
They did.
The JD.
The JD. The Duce. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
Oh my gosh, I've been so excited about this.
Oh.
I mean, hanging out with you too. Come on.
Full disclosure, though, I feel like we do have, it's like when we have to tell people that there's a relationship behind the scenes. So,
little one.
You are part of the Design Bitches. We are part of a group of designers and industry people. There's, I think, 9 of us.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was Rainey approved.
Okay, we're not going to go there.
But I love that story, but okay.
I remember it well.
No, everybody's nervous. No, you, Lindsay Root was like, you've got to meet this girl. And I was like, who's this person? I've never heard of her. I don't know. And you were new to town. And I was like, what if we don't like her? And of course.
Well, it is an ecosystem.
It was an ecosystem. It was a new ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And everybody hears about our group and they want to join. And we have said that it's closed forever just because nobody can ever see our text messages. However,
nobody's running for office.
We will be.
No one is running for office or to be a pastor in a church or any of those things.
Ship sailed.
But those ship sailed.
Most of us can't even be within 400 yards of a school. So anyway, no.
So we do have a very close relationship. So this interview, if it seems very familiar and a little less buttoned up and professional, there's a reason for that. So
which I love.
Which makes me happy.
I know, which is why I'm like, all right, sit back and hold on. Let's go.
Okay. What are you going to ask?
What was I going to ask? Okay, so I am curious. So you came from Boulder, right?
Denver.
Mm-hmm. you came out here to Texas, and all of a sudden we were hearing sort of these, this sort of other thing, this vacation rental design, and what is that? And so can you just share a little bit about how you even came up with that as a company?
Oh, sure.
I would love to know the pivots because
I'm just glad you were hearing about it when I got here, because I've been here 5 years now, or 6 years now, which I can't believe. But
And also, while you tell the story, can you clear up the whole, is it VRD or is it VERD? Like, I just need you to clear the air so we all know
what we're hearing, because you're all over social. So I want people to know it's the same. They might be hearing this and then this and it. Yeah.
we
All in
want
the wrong
all
thing.
the acronyms. We want to own them all.
Okay.
Okay, so I did my first vacation rental in 2015. And when I was asked to do it, I literally had to Google VRBO because I didn't know what it was, or an Airbnb. I'd never, in 2015, I mean, I'm team hotel girl. And so
No longer.
So I get it is a side secret that I'm still a hotel girl, but don't tell my vacation rental clients.
Okay. No.
They're not
Your
listening.
secret is safe
Super
with us.
secret for before this airs. But I did my vacation rental in 2015, which my very first project was a 10,000 square foot house on a beach. So I had to cut my teeth on that.
Man.
But after we were done and the owners were thrilled, the property manager who said, don't hire a designer, waste of money. We just put furniture in a place that looks like it's going to die. And then when it's really dead, we'll move it out and find something else off the side of the road. Like that seemed to be the thought process. And they immediately had improved ROI. I love doing it. It's a less intimate experience with the client. You can kind of be more creative and then you're done. And so I fell in love with that design. And I immediately went to High Point and to Vegas Market. And I'm looking for my people and the brands. And I'm like, I'm doing this thing. And, can we work on these things together? And they looked at me like, what the hell are you talking about? And I think back to, I think it was like when stagers started. Because stagers, when they first started staging homes, people were like, why would I bring you in and do these things to my house? It's going to sell. But now it's like, if you don't luxury stage your house at the right price point, you're not going to succeed.
Right.
And I think that's where I was at the time. So I said, well, then I'm going to make my own team. And so I approached Jane Dagme with HPXD, and she's a leader in High Point for off-market and brands. And I said, High Point would be a great place for a summit so I can find my people, vacation rental design people, which is vacation rental designers or vacation rental design, VRD. We started the Vacation Rental Designers Collective after the first summit, which was a big hit, thank God. And that's the Vacation Rental Design Collective, VRDC. And our tagline with the first summit was "Verd is the word." So that is where it is. And that stayed for whatever reason. And we're to the point now where we just can say Verd, fortunately, and brands or designers will recognize that. So I feel very lucky.
So big. You're
so
this
huge.
close to being like Nike. So recognizable.
Will you be my agent now?
Yeah. So recognizable. Okay, so while we're on acronyms, let's just go ahead and keep that ball rolling. Tell me about RFL, because I love this story, on your business cards it says, and I'm not making this up, Jessica Duce, RFL.
It does, proudly.
Mm-hmm.
I am a self-taught designer, basically. My mother was a designer, and so, of course, I was not going to be a designer. So I went to school for archaeology. I lasted 1 year. It's very dirty.
Was this like inspired by Indiana Jones?
Absolutely, 100%.
Oh my God, how did I?
1,000,000%.
Uh-huh.
And I was going to be so cool,
Uh-huh.
but boring as fuck. Okay, so hope I can say that.
You can say whatever
It's
you want.
you could say that here.
So then, of course, I immediately pivoted to business and banking because don't you read that on me
Yeah.
immediately? Worst banker ever.
Uh-huh.
But when I was in banking, I ended up helping a manager at a bank refresh her office. And I don't think it was magical, but to a banker it was. So I ended up helping another one. And a year later, I was doing the lobbies for Wells Fargo's in Omaha, Nebraska, where we were living at the time. And my mom said to me, do you realize you have a design business in a bank? Like, all right,
Okay.
archaeology fail, banking fail, I'll run with this. And so I was doing design, and at that time, you just posted on Facebook. And a design firm in town reached out to me and said, we'd like you to come work for us. We like your work. So, of course, I told them no, because I was terrified. And they were insane and stupid. And everybody that worked there had all these letters after their name. And they asked me again a few months later, and my husband said, you need to take this. And he was right. It was the best decision I made. But on my first day, it was like the first day at school, new kid. And everybody had bazillion letters after their name. And I was like, Jessica Duce, ex-archaeology student.
Facebook. Which is a lot of letters, because archaeology has a lot of letters in it. So then put X in front of it.
It was not like Indiana Jones. I'm just going to tell you that right now, right out of the gate. But so the office manager said, we order your business cards. What would you like on your card? And I don't know what inspired me at that moment, but I wanted to fit in maybe. And I said RFL. And she didn't question me, and nobody questioned me at the office, and none of them liked me. I wore them down eventually, and they all became my friends. But in the time I was there, not one person ever asked me what it meant. But it did give me a super secret power. Like, I'm just like you. I have letters. And what RFL means is random fake letters. That's it. But it gave me confidence
And
at the
how
time.
long was it before?
Years.
No, it was not years, Jessica.
I actually had a full circle moment because I was speaking at High Point 4 years ago, and one of the designers at that design firm was in the audience. And she came up to me afterward, and we were talking, and she actually brought up the RFL. And I said, you're going to shit your pants when I tell you what it means. And we laughed about it, and she goes, all of us wanted to ask you, but nobody would do it.
Oh, my God. So they were
all so intrigued, because I would have personally been like, oh, that's some highfalutin thing that I don't even know about. And I'm too embarrassed to ask, because the NCQT 47 height
9G.
one.
Yes.
And then, of course, ASID, which that one I know. But people have all these. So I would have just been like, oh, damn, she's like archaeology
Legit.
and this.
Banking, archaeology, RFL.
It's like higher than a master's of art. I
have a doctorate in something. I would have told anybody that asked me. I would never have hit it.
No, right.
And I'm a terrible liar. Like, you would have known the second I even tried.
God to know.
Well,
I changed your fake to the other F word, and I wrote that on a early retirement graduation certificate for Josh.
Did you?
And I put RFL. He got his RFL in 3.5 years. Yeah, because I was like, I mean, it makes me so damn happy. Somebody needs some letters behind their name.
Right.
What do they all mean?
Not to take away from anybody else's letters.
Oh my gosh, no, they worked so hard for those.
Those are the only letters I could personally achieve.
You worked too, and so you made your own letters. I think it's very...
So now you have VRD, VRDC, and RFL.
Yes.
Girlfriend, I don't even know.
I got to tackle a higher part of the alphabet at this point. It's just too much at the one side.
I love that.
But so, okay, then let's go to that. You were at this firm in Nebraska for how long?
3 years. I sound like this transient, but we've moved for my husband's company, and he's been with the same company the whole time, but he's gotten different opportunities, promotions, and so we've moved. I've actually had to move my business 3 times. And this last move to Texas, he actually found the house and bought it without me. Like, we FaceTime, I'm like, shipshape. And we got here, and we were a few months in, and he said, they're asking me if I want to do XYZ opportunity. What do you think? And I said, I will miss you. I am tired of moving. This is it. So we're done. So the company knows that, y'all
are
done.
Duce is planted.
We moved quite a bit. And our kids were great. They had a good chunk of time in Nebraska and then Colorado, but I hit my number. And I love Texas. And I got my design bitches. So we're good.
What are you going to do?
You got kids. You coming out your eyeballs, right? I mean,
do I? Oh my God!
How many?
I only have 3.
Is
that a litter?
I feel like 3. I don't know why. That just seems like. I guess in my head there was a 4th, but maybe because they're all doing so much stuff. But they are so phenomenal in their own way too. So, like, can you speak to what that was like, moving them around, their ages, and like when they found who they were in these places? Because I think that's a pretty big jump from Nebraska to Colorado.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That had to be a
Colorado
big
to
one.
Texas easy.
It's a little bit easier, maybe.
Yeah. I was thrilled. I actually, sorry to anybody in Colorado, but I didn't love living there.
Okay.
I've never woken up and went, God, I wish it would snow today. Not once. Gosh, I wish the air was so dry my lips were chapped. I've
Not
never
one time.
said that once. I will visit. I will fly in 48 hours, 72. I'm out.
It's like a Vegas for you.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was my experience in Colorado. But yeah, I mean, they loved it there. They're troopers. And I think it's made them able to adapt and, make friends and be strong. Like they've all pursued very different careers, but they're thriving. So that's all I could ask.
Don't they have letters after their name, like real letters? Like, you have to give us a quick rundown.
My son graduated from Seton Hall with philosophy and history and a minor in Russian, and he is now an Army Ranger. And I don't know how I made these guys. I did not drink through pregnancy. And then my middle child, my daughter, she just graduated from Georgia Tech. She has a doctorate in nuclear physics. And
that's what I was going to do too.
I don't. See, if archaeology and banking hadn't turned out, that was an option. And then my youngest graduated from Boulder as a data analyst with a minor in English literature. I don't know how those go together.
Wow. I mean, that is absolutely
That's
impressive.
a head tilt.
And I am RFL.
Yeah.
So see what happens?
I mean, I do love that they grew up in a place, like clearly you're brightest all get out and you go after everything that you can because you've created your experience in each of these places. A lot of people would have just been like, mail it in, right? Like, I don't have to really, just not do it.
Yeah.
People do that after not even leaving a state. So you're a freaking go-getter.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I would never have really thought about it like that, but it's just like everywhere I go, I'm like, I'm going to make the best of it. I definitely have my introvert, extrovert moments. Like I'm out there and then I'm like, okay, no humans need to talk to me for 3 days. I'm tapped. I need to refresh the battery. But to your point, yeah, why not?
I mean, give it a go.
Let's just
what else is
see what happens. What's the worst thing that could happen?
I also love that when you made this move, your husband looked at you and said, it's your time. You kind of told us that story that he was like, you have been my wing girl and right there by my side the whole time for my career. And you've kind of supplemented with yours or did your thing. But now I am going to be your wingman and support whatever it is you do. And I love that.
This is why I need you in my life, because I forgot that story. So I will have to go home and kiss my husband today.
Yeah.
Yes.
He did say that. He's like, you've made this adapt and work how you could, but now is your time to shine. So
I love
that's
that.
right. I really love him.
That was huge because I don't think enough people give credit to the trailing spouse and what that means for you and having to recreate everything and do it with your kids and do all that, right? So the fact he celebrates you here now, because, I mean, girl, you are on the go. You are, you're always gone. The fact that we've got you, we almost nailed you to the chair when you walked in, just for fear you were going to have to head straight to Bush.
Exactly.
Intercontinental.
Anything for you guys. So lead us through. You start this, in 2015, you realize this is a thing. Mm-hmm.
You do the summit in High Point. What, a year or two later?
Well, there's a little bit of a gap. We did that in 2015, and then I'm plugging along. And that same property manager that I had done, that had told the clients, don't hire a designer, waste of money. After he saw the ROI of that property, after we were done, I think I'm on my 9th home with him. So I continued to work with him, and then that grew from there. And then I had a move in there and kids in college, so kind of doing my thing. But it wasn't until right after COVID that I pitched the idea to High Point. And I pitched it to Jane, but then we went to High Point Market Authority. And
I was going to say, for those that don't know, tell us about High Point.
Well, I've been going to High Point for a while. To me, it's an investment. I get a lot out of that. And that has paid off for me now for where I'm at. But when I had the idea for the summit and pitched it to Jane, who's a co-founder with me, and Erica Surratt, who's a badass, I went to High Point with them and basically said, you don't know me. I'm this little RFL designer. and we think you should sponsor this summit. And you should do it as part of Market, which nobody's ever done before. And just trust us. We have no idea what we're doing. We've never planned anything at all, but it's going to be great.
But this is going to be rad.
Trust us, because up in here, it's fabulous.
Yeah, if you could just see in my brain. Thank God they said yes. And so none of us knew what the hell we were doing. Prayed people would come. We had an aha moment, and not a great one. We were just a month or two into planning, and one of the High Point Market Authority people, her name's Ashley Grigg, who's a friend and amazing, she said, what is your exit plan if people don't register and we think this is gonna fail? And we were like, the word fail? Like, it had not have even occurred to us. And so, that was kind of eye-opening. That was the first time any of us went, oh, we could fail? So we just busted our asses. And long story short, it ended up sold out, wait list, brand wait list, all sponsorships taken, and Summit was great. And High Point immediately said, let's do it again next year.
And so that brings us to the one that's coming up in January in Vegas. So why Vegas? How did that come about? And then tell us how people can register, because it's in January, just a few months away.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited. So we've done 2 in High Point. We were going to do one this summer off market, but the world changed, tariff language, all of those things. And to be really honest, we felt very cognizant about things that were happening with our brands and designers. So we moved it. And Moore, who manages Las Vegas market and Atlanta market and a large section of High Point market, came to us and said, we'd like to bring your summit to the West Coast and have you at our Vegas market. So they are putting us up, and we have the world view room, the top floor, and it's the Saturday before market. And we just started promoting it, and it's going to be freaking amazing. It's going to be really excited.
Good. This is incredible.
We're very excited. We were like, oh, you want us?
That they came to you, but but what you've created, and I love the fact that you guys had zero idea when they said, like, well, what if you failed? That wasn't even in your stratosphere of brains, because why would we fail? Of course people are going to come want to do this. That's the mentality difference between, and we have to have people who are probably a little bit skeptical, right? That's always the thing. But the 3 of you, that wasn't the thing. Because had one of you thrown that in, this might not have ever been born, because then that starts to create this momentum of the other direction, right? But you guys were always going forward. You're like, trust us, we have zero idea what we're doing, but it's going to be great. And then you build the plane while you're flying. But that's you. I mean, and it sounds like your partner's in this too, right, Dean and Erica? That's the difference from somebody who's working for another company and somebody who's created a company. I mean, that's who you are.
There's a fine line of bravery and stupidity,
right?
I think.
And I think there's a dance over it often.
Yes, blind faith really, I think, does play a big part.
But then speak to that. So that gives you a confidence, though, because it's like a little kid going you're at the park and you watch kids. They just go up and say, do you want to play with me on the swings?
Right.
You watch 15 or 16-year-olds, they're not talking to each other. And then 30, everybody's just like, and it's scary. So, but nobody says no to the little kid, right? Like, you want to play? No, everybody plays. So when you go into an endeavor with that kind of mentality, it happens more than not that people do want to go with you because your energy's at that level. So that speaks to all these people all these vendors and businesses that are now part of your business, right? So
yeah,
how have you created all those relationships that now are part of VRD?
Yeah, we had the first summit, and right after that summit launch, I mean, it was like tears, crying on the stage, thanking everybody for coming. People were, you've had those moments where like people said, I found my people, and it's this emotional experience, right? And at the time, it was the first one of its kind. And so I immediately thought, oh my God, I found these people. How am I going to keep them together? So the Vacation Rental Designer Collective was born within days after the summit. And my team pulled it together, and we knew that we could pull them in with education and resources, but I knew that wasn't enough. And somebody suggested a buying group, because now I had all these relationships with brands, because my role as a vacation rental designer in this, orbit is to educate brands on how we design differently. We talk differently, we design differently, we resource differently. I want you to drop ship for me. I want you to give me my stock and know exactly when it's going to be available. When you're shipping to Bandon Dunes, Oregon, you don't have a receiver. You don't have all kinds of things. So we design differently. And so I don't like buying groups. To me, buying groups are a designer is feeding orders to one person that has a great discount, and that person looks amazing to the brand. And that person's discount gets deeper and deeper because they look so great to the brand. The brand doesn't know who's really buying. They're not forming any relationships. They only know this one person. I have a problem with that. So I tried to start something new that I would want. And I went to the brands and I said, you have to give these designers something they can't get on their own. And you're going to do it directly. No middleman. I'm not skimming on the top. There is nobody in between. You're going to know who's buying from you. You're going to give them something great. They're going to know why they should work with you. I'm going to help create this relationship. I'm going to pre-negotiate, and then you're going to run with it. And thank God.
So selfless.
And they did it.
So incredibly selfless.
That's the business platform. I really just want to connect so everybody wins.
I love that. And I think when you help people get what they want and need, you always get what you want and need.
Yeah.
And that is powerful. That is super, super powerful. I love that. How would somebody join the collective?
Oh my gosh, we'd love to have them. And when I explain it that way, I hope that you realize that's why there's a fee. We have a team of 5 to manage this. We have 90 designers right now, the Vacation Rental Designers Collective, and you can literally just go to the website or reach out to me or talk about Leap of Faith. Thank you for letting Vacation Rental Designers Collective be a part of your podcast.
I know, you're a sponsor. And
talk about a leap of faith.
But we are so grateful. And because of that, because I will say to that point, the Vacation Rental Design sounds like it's for rental design,
anybody.
But it's any designer. And so that I think was the big pivoting point for me to kind of realize, oh my gosh. And so I had tried a buying group years ago and realized exactly to your point. So I realized I lost all of my great relationships that I had with like Hudson Valley and all these other things because we were going this way and they didn't know what I had been buying for the whole year. So they were like, well, you're now at this dropped tier. And then you explained what you had done. So we used you pretty much solely on a project we're installing this week. And I cannot say how easy and life-changingly easy it was. Carrie and I were both like, wait, what? We don't have to do this whole weird walk around because the designer who's in charge, who has the relationship, it was none of that. And every rep you have is so happy to help.
And they
so
want
every
you.
Company, they were so great. So it's
so
not just for
glad.
vacation rentals designers. It is for that.
You're not an inconvenience. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could go back in time and say, designer collective, but we're VRD.
Yeah. It's your,
but I do residential and vacation rental design, but I still want a really good deal with my brand and I want them to know me. So thank you for using it.
Yeah, I love it. But to that point, I want people to know it's not just, it's all designers.
I'm very pro designer. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
So how would they join?
You can go to the website, Vacation Rental Designers, or you can contact me or go to Duce Design. And maybe we can put a discount code I have for listeners.
Oh my God, can it be RFL?
I will put something together. So before this is released, you have your own promo code.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be in our show notes.
Yes, that is insane. That would, God, that's really cool.
Yeah,
Thank
we'll
you.
do that.
We don't even know how this works. That's how,
That's
see,
it.
you're already, like, that's your brain. You're just like 10 steps ahead at all times.
More the merrier.
So do you want to shout out some of your newer brands that you've got in, just so people understand like this? Because you've got some good pockets in the drop ship.
And when I say we have these brands, like if you want to be stocking dealer in designer language, that's what you have with a lot of these brands, which is pretty amazing,
Which
right?
is the best price point they offer.
That's the only difference is a retail store. So we have Hooker Furniture, all lines, and Margaritaville's getting ready to launch. We have Four Hands. We have, I'm going blank for some reason, Hoverton Forge. We have Classic Home. We have Regina Andrew. We have Braxton Kohler, Fazy Rugs, Unique Loom Rugs. I'm trying to picture Ballerina Kitchens. We have SKS Appliances. We have, in fact, SKS Appliances is a unique one because they take our members, 18 each year, to Napa training, but it's a different experience. It's an elevated experience. It's longer and it has some special events, and it's only for our members. And we're getting ready to do our second trip.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Love
I
that.
know there's
And I
more brands, and
love
I'm
the
going
brand.
blank.
Listen, to put you, nobody's
But
asking you to remember
but
all
those,
of them.
but the
We have
ones,
31
the
right
ones you
now,
named,
and
that
more
is just
are onboarding.
That is just amazing.
It's amazing because those are the ones that I think a lot of designers will know when they hear and be like, "Oh, I hadn't," because it's intimidating sometimes for if you're not quite even sure how to start into this,
Yeah.
getting into relationships with
Hard.
vendors,
And the paperwork is
oh my gosh,
9
yeah,
years long for each vendor. Yeah.
And we have Peg is our onboarder. She'll reach out to you. She'll walk through every account with you, how to get started. I think you had a call with
she
Peg.
was fantastic.
We actually send out a welcome box to our members now. Has a little blanket that says we've got you covered,
Yep.
little ring. And I don't know. I just want it to be an experience that a designer wouldn't expect, because I want everybody to just come together.
No,
I
you
love that.
just
So you have Peg, and then you have your 2 partners. That's 4 of you. Who's the 5th member?
So VRD, I have one business partner. Her name's Cass
Okay.
Petrock, and she actually was a former client and said, "I really like what you're doing. I want in." And every red flag should go off. And my gut told me
You
it
saw
was a
Miss
good
Pink
idea.
flags and thought this is going to
I'm
be
like,
lovely fun.
I feel like that's not really red. Anyway, she's been a godsend. So our team beyond Cass and I is Amy, Alyssa, and Peg.
that is so fun. And so you'll be at High Point coming up, and then will you do your summit there as well, or just wait till Vegas?
Well, right now we're only going to do the Vegas one.
Okay.
We have some talking happening. We're going to see. But we might pivot. We might add on some other categories, because again, really, to me, vacation rental design for designers is adding another revenue stream to your business. And if vacation rental design and vacation rentals is a $31 billion industry and technically the fastest growing design category in the world, shouldn't you at least have some insight into that? Because they say that 1 in 5 of your clients owns a vacation rental or a second home. So you should at least have the information or the resources in your back pocket.
Love that.
Well, what's coming up right on the heels is accessibility design. Our boomers are aging in place, that kind of design. So I'm thinking about adding that. I put my first accessible vacation rental unit together, and it's the only one in Wimberley. VRBO profiled it, and there are 1.3 million people looking for vacation rentals with accessibility, and there is a very, very small percentage of them for them.
That does something to me because everybody, like you said, parents are aging, and I would love for my mom to be able to, she comes to everything, but we go to places and there's
Not
49 stairs or whatever
right.
the thing. And you're like, oh, for goodness sakes, this is not a vacation for everybody. It's so kind to think that way. I mean, it's obviously beneficial to everybody when you think of them. I'm sorry that anyway,
You have to.
makes me a little emotional because you have to, people can't
and it's
take their
intimidating
parents
to think
sometimes.
about those design challenges. I had to learn some things I wasn't familiar with. It's not our everyday. In RFL school, we did not learn that. And but there's a lot to it, and it's so gratifying. So I can see some pivots.
ADA in RFL.
Another acronym.
There it is.
You
There
go.
it is.
I love an acronym.
Okay, so VRD Collective, you have J Duce Designs, which is your interior design company, and you've recently launched a whole new company.
By accident.
By accident. Well, hasn't everything sort of just rolled out by accident and then you've seized the day? So tell us about this one.
It's kind of a funny story.
Okay.
In that where it originated from was I was in High Point, and I have a friend there, and she said, I just need somebody to walk through this showroom and point out trends. And it's just to show sales staff what a designer's perspective is of some design trends they're seeing. So you know how High Point is. You're comfortable clothes running around. And I said, okay, fine, I'll meet you at the Hooker showroom. And that's where she asked me to meet her. And she wanted 30 minutes. That's it. And so I didn't put any thought into it. And so she's like, okay, go. And I'm like, I see this and blah, blah, blah. And here's what I see. And then great, grabbed a Diet Coke on the road or, from the showroom, ran off. What I didn't know at the time, because this is the power of just winging a prayer saying yes, I guess, is that she shared it with a hooker representative. And somehow that got up the food chain. And that person was friends with the new president of Star Furniture here in Texas. And they shared, they're like, hey, this designer's out of Houston. You're new to Houston. You've been talking about the designer program that, is kind of non-existent. Maybe you should talk to this person. This was going on and I didn't know. By the time I got back to Houston from market, I had an email asking if I would be interested in having lunch with the new president and the head of marketing for Star Furniture. And I'm new to Texas, so I Googled Star Furniture. I had no idea what it was. And I immediately go to what their trade program is. And it was terrible. It was like the equivalent of like spend $10,000 and you get a Subway sandwich. That's the way I read it. And so I'm thinking, all right, I'll go to lunch, but I'm not going to like
This isn't even a thing. I'm not going to like them.
And so
No, we're not going to Subway.
And I'm going to order whatever I want on the menu because, yeah. And so we go to lunch and they were just two great people. I really immediately liked them. But obviously Richard, the president, and Michael, they brought up the trade program. So, they're excited. And it's literally his first week. And he's like, so what do you think of our trade program? Like, I have nothing to lose. I went to RFL school. So I said, I find it insulting as a designer. I would never shop at your stores. It's literally like you'd give me a Subway sandwich if I brought somebody in there.
Oh my God.
And
was there a moment of silence?
For days?
But it was the honest truth.
God.
And that's what they needed at the end of the day. That's what they needed, Jess.
And
you gave it to them.
So,
so just real quick, you're probably pretty good at reading body language by that point.
Yeah.
There was a little deflating.
Was there a blowback? Was there a deflation?
I think there was a this and a this.
Did they look at each other?
I don't remember that part. I think I was like, focus on food. It sucks. But I would like to think I was more eloquent, but I said I would never use it as insulting, blah, blah, blah. And this is what I think this says a lot about them because they really do care about relationships. I mean, these people like Michael, he's worked there for 30 years at Star. There is a love in family vibe there.
Yes.
They went back to the office that day and pulled the entire trade program off the website that day. They're like, if we're insulting, we don't even want anybody to see it. We've got work to do.
Impressive.
And 2 weeks later, we had a contract, and my contract was just to help them refine the language and figure out the trade program with them. Mm-hmm. But we actually created something that did not exist before because I told them that the number one pain point for designers, besides profitability, is logistics. And, getting product to a house and having people that can install for you and the rates and how it all works. And you have, a 30,000 square foot warehouse and trucks and all these experienced people. There's got to be a way that you can make this better for designers. So Star is the first in the country to have a trade program where a designer can not only buy from Star Furniture, but they can buy from wherever they want and have whatever they want shipped to Star. And everything can be delivered complete in their delivery. It doesn't matter.
And they're
unmarked trucks.
Yes.
Because that is huge.
It is. I mean,
shout out to Star for doing that too.
If the designer wants the black truck and the black shirts and just this elite
if you can't tell,
white
it's
glove.
important to all of us.
Yeah, no, that's
big.
I mean, that's a big deal. Okay, so keep talking about your journey because you were very gracious and brought in a whole group, a panel to help.
Well, I knew right away you need to have people, an advisory council. So thank you.
You had some heavy hitters on that thing. That was
you
so
were a huge
smart.
part of creating that. And they need Houston locals, Houston voices. I'm the new girl. I just knew that we could do better. And you our advisory group did a great job, right? But we really did create something that didn't exist. And we got attention for it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so happy because we need our retailers. you don't want them to go away. You don't want people to think they can order sofas off Amazon or Joybird or all of those things.
For a number of reasons, including
So
the
many.
environment.
So glad you're saying that,
many.
because
I
so
love
many
that.
people are like, whether it's RH or these other things, like, be done with. No, we can't. We need them. So I love that that's something celebrated in your brain and how to keep them around. And that's
and
just
to
so
support
important.
a company, now that I've gotten to know them, I'm working, when I'm back in the warehouse meeting somebody that's going to go out on a delivery, they've worked for Star for 20 years and like Michael, 30 years, and this salesperson, 38 years. Like, that should tell you a lot right there. They really care and want to succeed, and they really want your business.
They're also generous when they have hosted designer events.
Mhm.
They have gracious food and accommodations and stuff. They're very thoughtful, and it is you feel like they really want you and value you,
I would agree.
which is not always the truth. We can name those places in Houston where you feel like they really don't want you there.
You're a number.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they give back. They don't share enough, I think, about all the things they give back to.
That's the part too. They have the Houston furniture. Like, they give, nothing goes to landfill. Like, they do all the stuff with the beds and all these other things. Can you speak to that? Because that, to me, speaks a lot. And I love it. And the kind of the greeny, their sustainability move,
it's important to them.
Yeah, they're working for it.
They definitely make sure furniture that, it has lost its time with them goes on to a better place for families in need. One special thing that they do, because mattresses are very hard to dispose of. And, typically those land in the landfill because you're legally not allowed to resell them.
That's right.
So they actually pay or donate, and the mattresses are stripped down to the frame and then remade into new mattresses, because the frame is great. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's actually an expensive part of the mattress. And that is not, that's not a profit model for a business.
No.
But that's another example of how they give
That's
back.
a care model.
That is a care. Yeah, I think that is so special.
Yeah.
You've gotten yourself in with the most special environments, it seems like even your High Point family, really, right? Like, people, you've sort of surrounded yourself, but then you share all of it. A lot of people are kind of keep it to the vest and, like, not really,
I think we call it pissing on the fire hydrant.
Yeah, a little bit, holding a little too close to the vest.
But you get so much more back than you ever give. You really do. I truly believe that.
It's true, and you've lived that, and that is your base model. Off the
my
line,
business model.
that is your
Give,
base model. I drove that thing off, fully loaded. But it's beautiful. But then these experiences and relationships are coming because of it, because people watch you in your genuine love of what you do and gift of, like, giving all your time and information. Now, you get paid for it in some ways, but you give back in others.
Got to do that. You got to pay the bills.
You got to pay the bills. Got to keep, daddy happy over there.
I like it. I didn't realize how much I was going to love working on the trade program. And so that's actually spinning into a new development for me. And we are in talks with some large retail companies that would also like to improve their trade programs, or at least do a better job at speaking designer. And I think, sometimes you have to explain to them, and it's surprising, right? To us, it just seems so simple why you need us. But COVID screwed up a lot of companies, and they're catching up still after all of this time. And so we have to teach them how to talk to us again.
That's a really good way to say it. I love that. And I think you're right. A lot of the other stores, the retail stores, they have their model, and that's awesome. It works, and people can go in and they can get their free whatever delivery service for, paint colors or help with the furniture in that store. But I don't think it really benefits the client at the end of the day. They just have a room that looks like everybody else's room because maybe so I think what you are bringing to them is going to be invaluable also. And it only helps us. That's the thing. It doesn't take away from RFL designers. It really does help kind of everybody.
There's so much out there. There's enough work for everybody. There's so much to do and talk about. But I think the guest experience in a retail store has changed, and you have to have more of a experience when you shop now, because otherwise what's stopping that person from staying at home and clicking some buttons on their phone or their iPad? And they need the education. We're circling back now where people are interested again in where it's coming from, or, what is in this chair. Or a lot of people have learned the lesson, like, I've bought these last 4 things off Amazon or whatever, and they're not lasting.
Yeah.
I don't want to make that mistake again.
Yes.
So it's nice to see that return.
Agreed.
I love, and you have created, I don't know, I just can't get over your just brainchildren. Your brainchildren just keep giving and giving. And I think that's another thing too. The no industry and no business is ever, it's stagnant. Like, you can still come up with these brilliant ideas that then are like, oh my God, why didn't we think of that before? But people get so stuck in their lane, which is, obviously Star. They had something new coming in, so they're like, let's fix this. But I love that what you are doing for people to sort of give them an avenue, because we all have our silos. And so you kind of are at this 30,000 foot level, seeing it in a different way. And it's beautiful. I love it.
I think you talked the other day at a panel discussion about somebody called you and asked, do you do XYZ? And you're like, we absolutely do. And then you hang up the phone and you're like, oh shit. Now
How
let's
the
figure
hell
out how
do
to
we
do
do
that.
How do we do XYZ?
Yeah.
I'll
But
figure it out.
I think that is the difference between a growing entrepreneur and just an entrepreneur. I think entrepreneurs get, like you just said, in their silo, in their lane, and they just keep digging that same hole. And you are this innovative, what's next, expansive and explosive entrepreneur. And that's a different type of person. The person that says, we do that. And then, oh gosh, let's figure that one out now. That's unique about you.
Well, thank you. I mean, I would say the same for you. You're like, woke up one day and went, let's have a podcast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Kind of
impressive.
Sort of. I mean, yes, and then had to do some due diligence.
And it's thriving. It's awesome. I listen.
We
I'm
have
a listener.
you on our show, so we must be doing something right. Because damn,
Yes, ma'am.
we got some big girl pants to fill here. But
It's
geez,
It's
Louise.
fun to be curious, isn't
that's
it?
Just live curiously.
What do we have to lose?
And how can we help?
What's the worst possible scenario?
We said that. And funny enough, our production company said, when will you know you're successful? And we talked about it, and we decided when we had 22 subscribers, we were going to consider
that was the magic number.
Yeah.
And they go, 22,000. We were like, no, just 22, like the number after 21. And they were like, okay, we've never had anybody say that. But we didn't have any.
We've never had such low achievers in our life.
We didn't have any expectations. So what do you have to lose? I think that's a really important question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to lose? And oftentimes it's really nothing if you don't take yourself too seriously.
I have to tell myself that all the time. Like when I'm thinking about an idea or something, or somebody asks me the question of XYZ, do you do that? I say in my head, like, what is the absolute worst case scenario? And once you like process that for a minute, it's never like, what is it? I don't order a latte tomorrow? Like, really, I know that sounds dumb, but it's never, ever as bad as you think.
Never.
So why not go for it?
I know. And I think we all do what's the worst. But I mean, I hear you almost saying, you might say that in your head, but in the real world, you're saying, what's the best case scenario?
Yeah.
It actually flies, and it's flying. That's the thing. So you're just taking faith. And I don't know. I love it. Your mentality
I've been told
is
no.
phenomenal.
It's just,
Yeah.
Then I go after them.
And so what's your biggest, right? Then you're like,
You're on my hit list.
Hold my beer, is what we say here in Texas. So what's the biggest driver for you when you're making a decision? Is it the actual business part of it? Is it who you're going to be doing that with? Or is it the ROI? What's the most important for you?
A smart businesswoman would say ROI.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's the who. Because I have to, I'm relationship driven, and I got to feel good in the room, or it's not going to work.
So when that little monkey and a tambourine are going around in your brain with these ideas,
That's very accurate.
I have a band up here too, so I kind of, but do you spin it, and then share it? Or do you say it right away?
Word vomit.
What's you word vomit? And do you do it to your husband, to your partner? Like, or how do you?
A filter. My core partners and the people that on the team, they've just learned to handle me. But no, I'm like, I have this idea, And, a lot of times it's like, that's great. Let's put that on our board of ideas.
For 2020, that then.
They've learned how to handle me. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
always
God, I love
it's
that.
always a project.
Okay. But so I'm sure they get excited about some, though. Some might
Yeah.
not make it to the board. Some might be, this is coming to the top, right? Yeah.
But you got to have a good team to be able to say, that is great. Should we pivot from these 8 other things to do this one? Or should we stay
because
the course?
Here's our bandwidth.
Right.
Yeah.
That is.
And thank God, because before I got the people that I have, I was like, I feel like we could do everything at once. Let's just do it. And that never
Everything
works
would
out.
be half-assed,
Yeah.
right?
Right. And I've had to learn that lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I get that. Oh, God. Matthew McConaughey just said it on in a podcast the other day, and it was so brilliant. He's like, we could do a bunch of campfires. I've got 8 campfires or 2 bonfires.
Yes.
And it was the perfect analogy of, let's not do 8 campfires. Let's do 2 bonfires. And it just made my own head go, oh.
That's a good one.
It's so, he's so.
That's a great idea.
And he's beautiful.
It's a good, it's a
I like
perfect
it.
one for how we do stuff, right? Or how we're constantly.
Right.
Yeah. So just, all right.
All right. And on that
And I know, okay. No, but I love, So that's.
Yeah.
Well, it has been such a joy having you. Is there anything that we didn't ask that you wish that we had asked?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to be a little sappy.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I came to Houston not knowing a soul, and you guys embraced me and brought me in. So I love it. And I have not had that everywhere I've moved. And I would have to say that Houston has been the most welcoming, and you have been the most welcoming.
Oh,
We love you.
Hug across the
Virtual, I know, as we
microphone.
trip over everything. No, but I think Houston's unusual in that way. But we're lucky. The bitches
really
are lucky. Bitches with a C.
Yeah. And it's fun to celebrate each other. And today we celebrate
But you,
So
and you were the
thank you
best
Thank you for having me.
addition. You are
I can't wait to see what you do next.
just blowing my mind.
And I'm going to have my cards reprinted with Rainey Richardson.
RFL. Love you guys.
Thank you. Love you. Okay, so wow.
What the heck? Can
What
we just do
just-
that
Again?
all day?
Let's
all
just do
day.
it again.
She's so freaking funny. I can't
She
with her.
is.
I mean, the funny is one thing, but then
Mhm.
she's got this whole other side that's talented as all get out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Yeah.
get over her.
And inspiring too, right? For somebody who's listening, who's like, I've got this brainchild, this baby idea, like what? It's like, well, what? Yeah.
Just throw it out
Look
there.
at what can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when people say, what's your your exit strategy, pretend you didn't hear them. I don't
Right.
think we should always go to that. Because of our industry, like innovative people, everybody listening to this
innovative,
is
please.
innovative.
Yes.
And so just don't be scared of your innovation because it's not standard issue. Not everybody's got it. So if you've got it, freaking share it because we need more of it.
Absolutely. And think about all the vacation homeowners that she has given them such an amazing way to make money off their properties, and think about the big box stores now that she's impacting. And then also think about the designers that she's blowing their businesses up because of the collective. I mean, just what if she hadn't done it?
So
We
many
wouldn't
tools.
have any of that.
I know. And now this whole thing with the ADA just touches my soul because
Love it.
that 1.2 million people vacation who need an ADA regulated. I don't mean to sound like a greed bucket, but there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people who are just tired of maybe what they're doing or didn't even think that existed. So she's just constantly
Whole new world.
feeding people options and opportunities. It's so
I
awesome.
love
And she
it.
shares her shit with everyone.
I love it.
And she's good stuff. I mean, her brands love her too, and that shows.
It does.
Wow.
It does.
So-
And if you're at High Point Market, my guess is, though, this will air after, but if you're ever at High Point Market in the spring or the fall, look for her. She'll be doing something there.
Yeah.
It's a great place to get to meet her in person. So
Vegas, find her for sure for her summit and go on and
Yep.
get tickets if you can, or at least just hunt her down.
You
She'll
won't
be in
be
great
sorry.
shoes. You will not be sorry.
no, you'll be so happy. so that brings us to the end of this show. You can follow me on Instagram at Rainey Richardson Interiors. You can follow us at Reframing Design.
You can follow me at Cassandra_brand_interiors. And please like, follow, share. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcast, everywhere you get your podcast. And thank you to VRD for our sponsorship too.
Absolutely. And if you want to
for the season,
reach out to Casey or I, you can get us at hello@reframingdesign.com and we'll be sure to respond to you. Thank you so much.
Bye. Okay. Oh, hello.
Hello. So,
oh, God, don't watch that on video. I think I just snorted. Snotted. Oh, my. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to another episode of